Hey there, Wargamers. Justin from App Services, and this week's Tactical Tuesday video is going to be a little bit different. I've got a green screen. We're going to see how this works out. This video is not necessarily going to be talking about using models or tactics on the table. It's more of a gentleman's style agreement. I know several people have talked about it, and in my old channel I did too, but I don't think you can emphasize enough the social contract that's involved with any kind of tabletop wargaming, or even board games. It doesn't necessarily have to be Warhammer or War Machine or Infinity, things like that. It could be X-Wing, it could be a board game, it could be a card game. When you sit down with a player, you're agreeing to play with them. Now, I know things get a little bit different in the tournament scene. Things are a little bit more cutthroat, so to speak. But in the casual scene, there's no reason for you and the other guy not to have fun. So there's some terms that are spread out in the community that alienate one side or the other. I think those two most common terms are fluff bunnies or whack players when at all cost. Now, while those statements may be true and they may accurately label those players, it doesn't change the fact that they may feel alienated. If me, the fluffy guy, doesn't want to play with the win at all cost guy, that's perfectly fine. It's okay to be picky and choosy with who you play. After all, you've spent all this money on the game and you should want to enjoy it. But you shouldn't make the other guy feel bad for it. And vice versa. If I'm the fluff guy and I don't want to play super competitive, the win at all cost guy is doing me a disservice by being rude to me or making fun of me. And again, vice versa. I do think that there's something to be said for meeting in the middle though. You know, if you're a fluff guy and you don't like playing super competitive, if you've got friends who are super competitive, try and find that middle ground. If you can't find a middle ground, agree to try their style of gameplay every once in a while. And vice versa. If you're the super hyper competitive guy, let's say for 40k you want to run 3 Wraith Knights or something like that, but your buddy wants to play fluff, consider playing what he likes to play from time to time. We need to bring the community together and have fun. Alienating people doesn't help anybody. If I agree to play with you and you pull out something that's not fun for me and I decide to not play with you again, you may have gotten that win, but you've lost the war in terms of wargaming because you've lost a player to play with. So you really have to find some common ground. What I've decided to do when I find gamers to play with is I discuss gaming with them ahead of time. Now, there have been guys that I've decided to not play with because their style of gameplay is not what I like, and that's perfectly okay. But I'm also willing from time to time to try what other people like. In some of my videos, you may have saw that I played with my buddy Doug. I've painted his Sisters of Battle, but he's also got some really awesome painted Tyranids. I'm not sure what studio did them. I would totally do a plug for them if I knew. I believe they're in maybe Poland, I'm not sure, but they look really awesome. And he got some Black Templars he picked up off eBay, and if you're watching this somehow, guy on eBay that painted them, your freehand is really awesome, and you undercharge yourself because your models look cool. So anyway, that side tangent aside. My buddy Doug likes to play really competitive stuff. He plays in the tournament scene, he really enjoys it. But he never makes me feel alienated when I discuss gaming with him and I express to him what I don't like. You know, I guess you could say he sucks it up, but he agrees to play somewhere in the middle, and I agree to kind of come up. So I don't play super fluff, he doesn't play super competitive. We find that middle ground where we're both going to have fun. And that is what everyone should be doing. You know, the alternative is, I'm super fluffy, I don't like to play with super competitive, so I sit at home. Super competitive doesn't come out to the store because there's fluff bunnies there and they don't want to play with me, so he sits at home. That yields people who aren't playing. You've got hundreds or thousands of dollars in Warhammer 40k or War Machine or other games. Try and find and do everything you can to play that game. Otherwise, why'd you invest in it? Why aren't you just playing Halo? So, my whole point of this video is to remember that when you're playing games, there is someone else on the other side of that table playing with you. Don't do them a disservice by making them feel alienated. And additionally, from the way I look at things, I have found that middle ground where I like to play, and I call it casual competitive. I don't play on this side where it's super competitive, I don't play on this side where it's super fluffy. I build for the middle, or what I call all-comers. So I can kind of lean this way and play a little bit, or I can lean that way and play a little bit. Casual competitive. And if I win or lose, usually it's by a small margin, and that's what I like. I want to have a game where at the end, my opponent goes, man, I almost had you, or I go, oh, I'll get you next game. Those are the fun games. No one wants to set up a game and have a blowout. Anyways, what do you guys think? Do you think that this is a load of crap? Are you a fluff bunny who's like, I'm not playing with the super competitive? Or you super competitive guys like, oh no, forget those fluff bunnies, I just want to crush them. What do you do? What do you think? Have you found some different methods to try and find that middle ground to maximize your game time? Let's talk below. Let's get a discussion started. Also guys, I do get paid to paint. So if you haven't already, click quote request now. Check out what I do on my website. Also, if you enjoyed this video, please also consider subscribing. Finally, you can stay up to date with all of our stuff, all of our current commissions and our promotions by checking us out on Facebook. So there should be some kind of link somewhere on the screen, so click that now. Thanks for watching, guys, and as always, happy wargaming.